All have assembled here for a very special occasion. We have a very good relationship over the past few years with Bhaktivedanta Research Center through Dr. Shumantha Rudra and his entire team. And they have supported a lot of projects. Firstly, they have supported Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Memorial Award to be given to highest scorer in philosophy department as well as to a faculty member who does exclusive work in social service. We have already given the award for social service. And from this year, I think we will be starting giving the award to the best student in philosophy department who scores highest. Then they have supported digitization of old and new books for the last 2 years. It is going on and it will be continuing. We have given a request letter so that the support continues. They have assisted us for the development of Abhay Charanji Memorial Seminar Room, which is popularly known as ACD Room. It is popular amongst the students now also. Then they have supported project of Varbi Roy, Dr. Varbi Roy, for which we are assembled here for the release of the outcome of the project. And in the coming days, we are interested to work on Indian knowledge system. I have talked with the head of Department of Sanskrit as well as philosophy that Indian knowledge system is now being given a lot of emphasis by government of India. So we all should come together. And Indian knowledge system is not about, it is not restricted to only the humanities department. It is it's a large domain. The last seminar which I have attended, I have listened to humanity also. It's a large domain where all branches of courses can come together and they can work together. So we have interest in working on Indian knowledge system, research methodology faculty development program, and Sir has shown interest on Chaitanya Research Center if that can be developed. So with that brief note of introduction, I would like to welcome all of you and we request our principal, Dr. Netaji Subhas to give her welcome.
Good morning everyone. Dr. Shumantha Rudra, the key person of Bhaktivedanta Research Center, Mrs. Shiva Rudra, Srimati Mahalakshmi Gupta, Mr. Sundar Gopal Das, Srimati Adrita Sarkar, dear Piyu, Pijush and Rashika, you are representing Bhaktivedanta Research Center today. Our Vice Principal Sir, Dr. Supratim Das, all IMC members who are present, IQAC Coordinator Dr. Shamrat Bhattacharjee, though Senator Secretary and Barsad, they are not present, but I am mentioning their names. Senator Secretary Dr. Vidisha Sinha, Barsad Dr. Upendra Nagmundri, Teachers Council Secretary Dr. Indrani Kaur, she is amongst us, PG Coordinator Dr. Rajashree Ghosh, the author of the book to be released, Dr. Varbi Roy from the Department of Philosophy. It is my immense pleasure to welcome you all this morning. On behalf of Scottish Church College, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Bhaktivedanta Research Center, who are working silently with us for the development of Scottish Church College. Sponsoring this project of philosophy and publishing this book which Dr. Varbi Roy has written out of our research work is one of them. Apart from this, Bhaktivedanta has helped Scottish in developing a seminar room dedicated in the name of Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON and one of the renowned former students of this college. They have also helped us in digitization process of old and rare books of philosophy and inauguration of a digital library, Darshan Ishona. And nowadays, it is very difficult to receive grants for research in philosophy. In this era of crisis, Bhaktivedanta Research Center has helped us a lot. Actually, I believe Sri Prabhupada had shown us the path, and his Punyatma is still with his alma mater to go ahead in striving excellence in academic endeavors. I am indebted to you, Dr. Rudra, as there are many collaborative projects in pipeline. I hope our relationship will be stronger in future and you will help to flourish his very old and prestigious department of philosophy. We all know that two of our most renowned former students, Swami Vivekananda and Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose, were the students of this department only. Recently, we have revived the Philosophical Society also. With your encouragement, this area of research will reach a height which will enlighten again the society at large. I congratulate Dr. Varbi Roy for her successful research and for writing this book for all of us. I wish you all the best, Varbi.
Thank you.
I wish more and more faculty members and students come forward to do good research in this field. So, may God bless us all. Thank you.
Request our Vice Principal, sir, to say a few words.
Today we are here mainly to launch a book by one of our close colleagues, Dr. Varbi Roy. I am coming to that later. But before that, we must not forget that philosophy happens to be a mother discipline. I was just teaching Greek philosophy in my first period class today, where I was just trying to enlighten my students that whenever we are trying to consider anything which is called epistemology, knowledge system, then we must not forget that this is standing on the pillar of what is called philosophy. When this particular college, as General Assembly's institution, was founded in 1830, long back, then if I am not wrong, two basic disciplines were introduced. One must be English, of course, because the Europeans, the British, they needed to disseminate English language among the natives. So that had an administrative reason, some kind of administrative compulsion. The other subject, the other discipline, I must say, of course, happened to be philosophy. Other subjects, they gradually came later on, so they are late starters. So we can imagine that the foundation of this particular college in 1830, which as a historian I consider a particular germinal time, which was coupled with 1,000 possibilities. And one of the landmark events, of course, was the foundation of this college by Alexander Duff. There, they definitely felt a deep need, requirement to promote the particular cause of knowledge among Indians. And to start with, the discipline happened to be, in addition to English, philosophy. And as usual, the principal was mentioning our two stalwarts, although college has always been in the long journey of 195 years or more, college has been flooded with icons. But anyway, we always refer to Swami Vivekananda and Subhas Chandra Bose. We must not forget that both of them studied philosophy here. And the Philosophical Society that was mentioned, it was actually started by one of the most talented principals that the college had ever seen. in its long trajectory was Dr. William Spence Arthur. So Arthur, he started the Philosophical Society, and who was the secretary? The secretary was none other than Subhas Chandra Bose. So that golden tradition started maybe in the second decade of the 20th century. And Subhas Chandra Bose, after being expelled from Presidency College, he came here because of two reasons. The first reason was that it was the college of Vivekananda, who studied philosophy here. So this long cherished tradition should be maintained. And this is exactly where this Bhaktivedanta Research Center, they are doing a very constructive work for the college. Because we need to archive our epistemological documents. It's true that the picture is not very helpful. We see that students, lesser and lesser number of students, they are taking philosophy as their core subject, but that does not mean that philosophy has been a dead subject. Rather, I already told that it happens to be a mother subject. I remember how in so many important discussions meant for the PhD and MPhil students in their coursework, one particular thrust area was the philosophy of history writing. Similarly, philosophy has its own history. So these are mutually inclusive. And Varbi Roy, this particular title, this is very interesting because social epistemology is comparatively a fresh subject, a particular modern branch of philosophy to the best of my knowledge, which deals with the social aspects, the social phenomena, the social dimensions. Today, that is a particular area where we are lacking in. We must be more sociable. For that, I remember how Professor Amartya Sen, when he was trying to express some very difficult economic theories, how he philosophized economy. And then he could write Poverty and Famine, for which he was awarded the Nobel Award. That he philosophized the discipline of economics. So we need to philosophize our social relationships, and that is exactly how we can contribute to the bigger domain of knowledge today. So once again I express my gratitude, because as a social scientist I think that this archiving of documents, this is invaluable. Otherwise we shall always remain answerable to our posterity for not doing this. So thanks to the principal, thanks to Bhaktivedanta Research Center. I cannot remember all the names, but I am grateful to all of you and for this good morning small program. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. I would now request our chief guest today, Dr. Shumantu Luthra, to address us.
Thank you, Dr. Mantri. Without your support and blessings and our huge welcome, we would not have reached this milestone that Bhaktivedanta Research Center Scottish has. I am at loss of words to express my thanks and my great gratitude to you while we are doing this journey on one of our very important alma mater, AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who passed out from this college with several well-known people, Swami Vivekananda and others.
I'm also thankful to my authority that they have given this permission. As you know that initially we were in a dilemma that how we will be allowing you to come and do some work here, but they have given that permission to all of us. So we are now together. We are doing
Yes, and more. I will have a small thing. The Bhaktivedanta Research Center is an academic center of excellence dedicated to the preservation, research and knowledge of the Indian knowledge system in collaboration with various universities and scholars worldwide. We just signed an MOU with IIT Mandi and IIT Mumbai for such projects. And we hope in today's conversation this will be one of our discussions.
Some of our students are already there in IIT Mandi.
Oh, that's
they are PhD scholars there.
Oh, so we
my
will,
history students.
That is very nice. We will outreach we have a very long signed MOU which is available on their website. Through its philosophy study series, BRC publishes top research across all branches of philosophy including ethics, epistemology, logic, metaphysics and philosophy of science. Emphasizing pluralism, it welcomes diverse methodologies and interdisciplinary work focusing on the innovative topics and practical application while advancing philosophical inquiries across both tradition and emerging areas including both Western and Indian philosophy. In line with this commitment to advance scholarly discourse, the Bhaktivedanta Research Center is greatly pleased and honored and present extended knowledge and social epistemology by Dr. Varbi Roy, Associate Professor in the Department of Philosophy at Scottish Church College. This volume makes a notable contribution to the growing discourse of the nature and dynamics of social knowledge creation and makes the latest in series a fruitful academic collaboration between Bhaktivedanta Research Center and Scottish Church College, the alma mater of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who had enrolled there as an undergraduate in 1960. Dr. Roy's work offers a rigorous and thoughtful exploration of the mechanics through which social epistemics process, extend and enhance collective knowledge. The book includes, among other aspects, an extensive review of existing literature on social epistemology, focusing on collaborative knowledge creation and dissemination mechanism. Significantly, it also integrates Indian philosophical insights with contemporary social epistemology, thereby offering a promising avenue for future, furthering our understanding of knowledge system. The book deepens academic discourse while also offering valuable practical implication for improving the inclusivity and effectiveness of collaborative knowledge platforms worldwide. The publication of the present volume has been possible as a part of BRC's continuing and highly rewarding partnership with Scottish Church College, which has resulted in a wide range of impactful projects including the Darshan-i-Shana, digitization through which over 700 rare books, documents and manuscripts have been preserved thus far, with many more to come. The establishment of the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Memorial Award, recognizing meritorious students and distinguished faculty member for academic excellence and community service. The proposed launch of an online Bangla language course open to students from India and abroad. The refurbishment and inauguration of the Abhay Charan Day Seminar Hall, now a state-of-art facility equipped with modern technology. BRC was greatly honored to participate in the important project. Funding of Dr. Roy's research and now the publication of a completed volume in collaboration with their publisher. BRC remains deeply grateful to the esteemed principal of Scottish Church College, Dr. Madhumanjari Mandal ma'am, for her warm kindness in graciously welcoming and facilitating BRC's participation in these various initiatives. Working with Scottish Church College continues to be among BRC's most fulfilling and satisfying collaboration, and BRC looks forward to many more in the years to come. Thank you very much, ma'am, and all the
Thank you, sir, for that encouraging talk that you have given. Now, the person who has completed the book, Dr. Varbi Roy. So I would request Dr. Varbi Roy, Associate Professor, Philosophy Department, and the author of Extended Knowledge and Social Epistemology, to share about her experience and journey while going through this entire process.
Thank you so much. So at the outset, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Bhaktivedanta Research Center for their generous support in funding this project. And without their encouragement and financial assistance, this book would not have been possible. So I'm thankful to Dr. Shuman Surudra sir for his continuous assistance to me and to our college. I'm also sincerely thankful to our principal ma'am, Dr. Madhumanjari Mandal, for her encouragement throughout the journey. And in all our endeavours, she always encourages us. I must express my gratitude to all my colleagues of Scottish Church College, but a special note of appreciation goes to Dr. Shamrat Bhattacharya, my friend, IQAC coordinator of the college, for his motivation. Now, epistemology, as Sir was mentioning, it is a subject which is very close to my heart. I have been engaged with this sub-discipline of philosophy from 2005 during my MPhil days. I did one of the 4 term papers on Gettier problem. It is a core thing in philosophy's epistemological discussion. Then eventually I did my MPhil dissertation on the same topic. In 2008, within a year of joining Scottish Church College, I got an UGC MRP on the topic knowledge and its condition. So again epistemology. Then a gap of many years, in 2015, I went on to do my PhD again on epistemology, and it was the explanation and emergence of the development of social epistemology from 2 different perspectives. There are actually 2 different perspectives of social epistemology. This book contains only one. So my PhD was seeing the emergence from 2 different perspectives, classical and anti-classical, and my thesis was that classical version of social epistemology can complement the traditional epistemology if the basic tenets of traditional epistemology are suitably amended. So this was my PhD thesis. Moving forward to 2023, thanks to BRC again, and as a deliverable was in the form of a book. So I have attempted to focus upon 3 major trends of Western epistemological tradition. I focus on the 3 trends now and try to locate the place of social epistemology as a recent trend. Along with this book, this research has helped me to publish a paper on communitarian epistemology in the Journal of the Department of Philosophy. So thanks to BRC again, and which was published in June 2025. And last year I have presented a paper on Wikipedia as a system-oriented social epistemology in an international conference organized by International School for Sri Sankaracharya Studies in Kerala. Now let me take you through the content of the book briefly. So the 3 trends I just mentioned. Traditionally, epistemologies are concerned with the understanding of the nature of knowledge, the identification of the legitimate sources of knowledge. So what are the sources of knowledge? The limits of knowledge. Is it leading to skepticism, etc.? Are there truths that can be known, etc.? So this is the traditional epistemology. Descartes, Plato, Sir mentioned about Greek epistemology. They reject the possibility that knowledge can be obtained through sense experience because they are rationalist, and restricts knowledge as something which is absolutely certain. He said his technique of methodic doubt, he doubted everything and reached the conclusion which are the grounds of certainty. What are the conclusion? I think, therefore I am. I'm specifying I think, therefore I am. All that is clearly and distinctly perceived is true. So these are the things which Descartes concluded after his methodic doubt. So for both Plato and Descartes, reason is the only source of acquiring knowledge. Rationalism, this theory is called rationalism, which is absolutely certain, and that what is obtained through senses cannot attain the status of knowledge. Senses, sense experience, that cannot attain the status of knowledge. Now, the so-called British empiricism, that is Locke, Berkeley, Hume, in the 18th century, 17th and 18th centuries, came into being as a reaction to rationalism. Empiricism stands in opposition to rationalism, both in its views about the sources of our ideas concerning and the sources of our knowledge also. So, the 2 theories, rationalism, empiricism, this is all about traditional view of epistemology. And then there is the German philosopher Immanuel Kant, very important figure in the discipline of philosophy, who have attempted to reconcile sense and reason. And in his famous book, The Critique of Pure Reason, his main concern is to show how are synthetic a priori judgments possible. So when we are having knowledge, both elements of sense experience and reasoning is important, and he has reconciled it. So this is the traditional view of epistemology. Now comes the second trend, which is which can be considered to be the age of analysis, because analytic philosophy comes into the picture in 20th century. Ayer, Carnap, etc., logical positivists. So the pattern of question changes in epistemological discourse. This is the second trend. So instead of asking what is knowledge, what are the sources of knowledge, etc., the question changed to when can it be said that S knows that P is a proposition, S is a subject. I think, therefore I am, S knows that P. So this is the second trend. Therefore, knowledge is defined by the conditions, my UGC-MRP. So, knowledge is explained or defined as justified true belief. The focus of epistemological inquiry is individualistic. It is individualistic, no social aspect is there. Now, if we look into the two decades, that is 1970s and 1980s, we could see two most transformative decades. We can identify them as the two most transformative decades. First, we can mention about Thomas Kuhn's The Structure of Scientific Revolution, where he talked about incommensurability theory. It's very important. It showed that purely objective consideration cannot settle disputes between two competing scientific theories. So pure objectivity is questioned, and scientific beliefs are influenced by social factors. So in 70s, 80s, this trend is coming. So there occurred a paradigm shift to insist on the primacy of social factors in explaining scientific change also. Then subaltern studies, some must be knowing, intervened in historical schools of thought that could not represent the history of nationalism in India without celebrating the role of the elites played in bringing the larger nation into the discourse. So this existing version of history, Ranajit Guha argues, who is the father of subaltern studies, discounted subaltern contribution, and so the subaltern studies group sought to rectify the elitist bias in a field dominated by elitism. Okay, so the grand narrative is changing. Then there is feminist philosophy, which has begun its journey in 1970s as part of women's study movement. It started theorizing with the aim to put an end to the prolonged absence of women in much disciplinary knowledge. So, care ethics comes into the picture. Instead of traditional ethical theories, we theorize about care ethics. In epistemology, standpoint objectivity comes into the picture. So, standpoint theory comes into the picture. So, we are not talking about objectivity, we are talking about subjectivity now. Michel Foucault's Power Knowledge argued that the so-called knowledge-seeking practices of the modern world serve the aims of power and social domination. So, in 1970s and 80s, a lot of changes occur in the academic field. Since the early 1980s, social epistemology has become an important field of study in contemporary epistemology. Naturally, with all the changes, social epistemology also comes into the picture of the traditional, of the epistemological academia. And this is, I have identified this as the third trend of epistemological discourse. Now let us consider some questions. Are you with me, all of you? Is it boring? Okay. So, let us consider some questions. Is it safe to invest in mutual funds? We asked this question, right? Is it safe to access bank accounts online? Is it safe to link Aadhaar online? What is the best food for newborn babies? We asked these questions. Can vaccinations cause autism? Is it safe to talk over mobile phones for long? Now, these are some of the questions to which we seek answers. Sometimes we want answers just to satisfy our curiosity. But often we require them in order to make informed decisions, sometimes of vital importance, about which course of action to take. In majority of cases, we cannot find answers by ourselves. So we must turn to experts. Right? In Indian philosophy, this expert is called the Aptopurush, Shabdo Praman. Aptobakko by Aptopurush. So, and other specialized fields of inquiry. So we must turn to experts. Now the question is, when we do so, a family of meta questions arises, meta questions. Who are the experts in a given domain? Which experts are reliable? Does the expert advice represent a mere opinion, an educated guess, or genuine knowledge? Who should be trusted when experts disagree? How do biases, interest and social values affect specialist opinion and to what extent? So the second group of meta questions belong to the realm of social epistemology. Its scope is huge, but I am only touching some parts in my discussion today. This is a branch of epistemology that studies the social dimensions of knowledge, as Sir mentioned. So social epistemology is not challenging the integrity or propriety of individual epistemology. It is not challenging it. It exists. Accepting that much of our perceptual, memory-based, introspective, inferential knowledge is achieved on a purely individualistic basis. We are not arguing with that. But considering the significance of social causes for a large sector of our beliefs, these social causes must receive a large proportion of epistemological attention, which is taken care by social epistemology. So, social epistemologists would inquire under what conditions are social evidence-based beliefs. Social evidence-based belief means the knowledge which you are getting from experts. It is a social evidence. So, belief justified. One such example is a case of testimony. That is Shabda. Moreover, when we often say that Scottish Church College is, I always identify myself with the college. We are expecting, or Scottish Church College is expecting to score A++ in NAAC 2027. We all are expecting. Shamradha would agree. So here, the group is considered epistemic agent, not me alone. The group is considered the epistemic agents over and above the individual members in it. So, social epistemologists would discuss what is the relation between judgments of members of a group on one hand and judgment of the group, of the entire group on the other hand. So again, social epistemology would also study social systems, like I did. I just mentioned that Wikipedia is a social system, and I have not done it, but any researcher can go ahead and talk about ChatGPT or any such things, such system where we get knowledge and they can judge whether they are reliable, etc. From many perspectives, from epistemological perspective, they can argue whether it is reliable or not, how far the knowledge is good, etc. We are only thinking about the ethical part, but we are not thinking about the epistemological part. So we can do that. Anyway, this is the social epistemology will study social systems. Now, Wikipedia, as one of the most popular and widely used sources of information worldwide, served as a rich case study for investigating how collective epistemic practices, now we are talking about practices, operate in digital spaces and how social systems shape the quality and reliability of knowledge. Now we are talking about epistemic practices as opposed to epistemic states. What are epistemic states? Epistemic states are having knowledge, having error, having ignorance. These are epistemic states. And what are epistemic practices? They are good if they promote knowledge. So epistemic practices, by contrast, have instrumental epistemic values. They do not have fundamental epistemic values. They have instrumental epistemic values for achieving those states. Now this is a bit of a technical thing, so I will give a very I will explain it with an example which might be easier for you to understand, and consider it to be just an example. So the example we can take the voting rights of contractual teachers in Teachers' Council. Let's say this is the issue. Now, a principal of a college is faced with a critical decision whether or not to grant voting rights to contractual teachers in the Teachers' Council. So how would judgment aggregation take place in epistemology? Recognizing the complexity and sensitivity of the issue, the principal may seek the counsel of 5 members of the internal management system, each of whom brings distinctive administrative experience and policy understanding. So however, their judgments may vary. Now let us assume 3 things. First, each IMC member gives a yes or no verdict, whether contractual teachers should have voting rights or not. Second, their judgments are based on a mix of statutory interpretation of institutional regulation, precedents, institutional interest at large, etc. So this is a presupposition. And third is, the principal knows the administrative competence of all the IMC members. These are presuppositions. Now, how should the principal of a college aggregate their judgments? There are three possible strategies. This is called veritism, theory of veritism, as advocated by Goldman. First one is unweighted majority rule. Unweighted. The principal counts the number of yes and no responses and follows the majority opinion. But there is a problem. If it treats all opinions as equally valid, ignoring differences in prior knowledge, who has prior knowledge, more prior knowledge, expertise or experience. The second is dictatorial rule. That is, the principal refers to the senior most competent member. Say for example the vice principal with a history of sound policy judgment. Now the problem is, it dismisses insights of other members, ignoring the value of note of dissent if any, potentially losing out on valuable diverse perspectives. And the third one, that is weighted voting scheme. Each member's vote is weighted according to their competence score, which principal knows. For example, if member A has a competence level of maybe 0.85 and member B has a competence level of 0.95, A's opinion contributes more to the final aggregated judgment. This weighted aggregation offers a composite decision that reflects not only the number of votes but the quality of judgment. So epistemically speaking, this should be the acceptable method. So following this epistemological framework of judgment aggregation as applied in social epistemology, the weighted voting is the most rational strategy when competence levels are low. It maximizes the likelihood of a just and sound institutional decision, especially in ambiguous policy matters like contractual models. Please consider this to be just an example of a social epistemological discussion. Now I move on to the last chapter of the book, which deals with Indian philosophical traditions, especially with the NAAC tradition. I have only mentioned NAAC tradition. So we know that Noaites accept four sources of knowledge primarily: Pratyakha, Anuman, Upaman and Shabda. The fourth source is Shabda or testimony, which is always given less importance and is believed by some to be reducible to inference. So there are a lot of presupposition in my last chapter. I have not explained everything in it. So I have considered that only philosophy students will maybe understand the last chapter of this book, because otherwise it would have been huge. So in the last chapter of my book, I have attempted to clarify the central issues in the debate over whether testimony can be reduced to inference. This is the central debate of testimony in Indian philosophy. And a key question is identified whether testimony is epistemologically distinct or reducible. For Noaite like Joyanto, testimony is epistemically distinct because its instrumental cause, that is the instruction of a trustworthy person, Apto Purush, is inherently social. This shifts the epistemic burden from the knowledge seeker. So epistemic burden is not only with the seeker but also to the speaker. Therefore it becomes social, framing knowledge acquisition as a collaborative process. In this view, ensuring the truth and reliability of beliefs is not solely an individual's responsibility but a shared endeavor within a community of knowledge. So however, this is the technical part of my book, and however I must admit that there are many errors, inadvertent errors in the book, without a doubt, and I can only hope that this book will be of help to some of the students of philosophy. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
So thank you, Dr. Varbi, for sharing with us about the intricacies in the book and how the entire thing generated. Thank you so much for giving your effort and successfully completing the project, and we can see that this book is now ready to be displayed. So without any further delay, I think we can, in front of the banner, we can have the launch of the book.
Yes. স্যার
এইগুলো খারাপ লাগে করা হয় একদম
নষ্ট না করে করে দিন নষ্ট স্যার
সবাই একটু ধরে
অবশ্যই।